Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another beautiful week with us on Live with Lloyd, where the joy of numerology is the joy of learning and enlightenment. I am your host, Astro-Numerologist Lloyd Strayhorn. On this Wednesday, May the 16th of 2022, it's incredible. We're midway into 5 years, 5 months of this new year. That seemed just right around the corner. But anyway, as you see, I have a special guest that's going to be on in a moment joining us, Goddess Kaya. And we're going to be talking about whatever she wants to, I guess, with the health. Today is a full moon day, by the way. So that is everybody need to be mindful. And before I bring her on, as you know, I always do our cosmic forecast. Today is May 16th, 2022. The sun is still in Taurus. The moon is in Sagittarius. It is still Mercury retrograde until the third day of the month of June next month. It's an 11 universal month, a 5 universal week, a 9 universal day, a day to tap into the spiritual and intuitive side of your nature today, if possible. Those signs that are likely to do well today would be Cancers, Leos, Scorpions, Pisces. I call it out of order, but the same thing, as well as those born on the 7th, the 9th, the 16th, the 18th, the 25th, the 27th of any month. This is your day. Now, here's what's interesting. Although it's a full moon, the moon was in Leo up until 7 something this morning. Then we went into the sign of Sagittarius. But they still put it as that. I have no idea, but maybe my guest who can explain a lot of this can help a lot. Let me get this off. Let me do this. Let me do this. And let me do this. Hey, Kaya, how are you?
Hi, Lloyd. How are you doing today?
Fine. Thank you. Listen, today is a full moon day, but it's supposed to be a lunar eclipse. Can you explain astrologically what that might mean, please?
Sure. Lloyd, I just wanted to say thank you for having me on. You have built a beautiful platform, and I'm so honored to be a member of part of this beautiful university that you built. And
Thank you.
also, I want to give thanks for even being in the elements of you and Kalia and other numerologists and astrologers on here. Just wanted to say thank you as well too. So yes, the solar eclipse, they said it was just pretty much on the 15th to the 16th. So it happened at Eastern time zone at nighttime at around those the daytime. So it was at the sun was at 25 degrees. When we have a lunar eclipse or full moon, pretty much the moon is casting away the earth's shadow. That's why you can see the moon more fully. And that's why they don't really say exactly when the moon goes into Scorpio that it was a full moon, is because it has to be at an exact degree alignment. If it's not at the degree alignment with the sun, then it's not a full moon at that point, right? That's what they call it that. But the moon is always full in a water sign because the moon is a water element, right? So every time the moon gets into a water sign, you can really see the moon attributes of it. It really does shine more. It gets more fuller. It gets more fuller around the water signs when the moon, even if the moon is in a full moon in Sagittarius or in Aries. Before that, it was Pisces, so that's why the moon you see much fuller. The importance of this full moon that just occurred in Scorpio, and also the solar eclipse of what happened in Taurus, is I want you to just kind of like jog your memory a little bit, right? So last year we had the initially first it was a lunar eclipse. So on November the 4th through the 19th of 2021, kind of recall and read your memory of what was happening around that particular time frame. Think about the dreams that you were having, the conversations you were having, the people you were aligning yourself with around that particular time, the projects you may have been working on, the highlights of the global aspect as well, to see what was going on around that particular time in your personal environment. And and go deeper down the rabbit hole so you can understand this solar and lunar eclipse of what's happening right now. It's very important. To me, I find it very beneficial around a particular time. Me myself, I was having visions myself, and around that time in November, not to ask around a lot of people too, and that time in November, there was a lot of thunderstorms going on in my dreams. So thunderstorms, and it was scorpions and water bugs, right? I'm like, why scorpion water bugs invading people's homes? So, or in the homes, in the closet of their home, Scorpio, the eighth house, closet, secrets, things being revealed, death and rebirth, transformation, inherit, the taxes as well too. So, with that particular time frame, that vision that came to me was Scorpion, and then I go check my email, and on the email, scorpions were invading in Egypt, right? How was that? Now you go back until this particular time frame, where the solar eclipse and the lunar eclipse is happening. It kind of like bring the bigger picture together, or what was playing out initially when it was on like the preview of it. Now we are fully into the solar and lunar eclipse. So just jog your memory back around that particular time, what had happened. Of course, the Scorpio full moon brings hidden things. It reveals things that maybe you didn't see before, and also protect you from certain things that you didn't see. So these things that is happening right now and that's going on in your life, your soul, you want a soul mission, your soul is calling you, and it is inviting you to pretty much transform your life in some type of shape or way or form. You got to make a sacrifice, you got to give up something, you got to surrender to something. What kind of habits and patterns that you are have been doing that you kept saying, you know what, I'm gonna change, I'm gonna change, I'm gonna change, but when are you really gonna make that change? uh, Now with this full moon in Scorpio, because the solar eclipse in Taurus was showing you what you value, and you got something to say?
No, I was going to say, haven't there been some other planets out of alignment, Pluto or something, or some other
Yeah.
planets there? So there's a whole lot of. It's almost as if there's a paradigm shift with the planets. If
Oh
I'm
yeah,
not mistaken.
most definitely. And actually, you should have felt that shift when the nose of the moon was in Gemini and Sag. That was really a shift, because that's Gemini shifting your mind, your plans, and your philosophies and your thoughts, the things that you were learned from a childhood, that you were unlearning and relearning things all over again. Scams, right? There are a lot of things about scams, scamming people. Um, Fake credit card. People are just doing a lot of things in that particular time frame. But
What
it was
about on the tail end of Sagittarius then, which would be if one is on the north node of Gemini? So what would that reflect in the south node of Sagittarius, if that makes sense?
so yeah, so we always travel. So it's traveling right now in Taurus, right? So the
Mhm.
the north node is in Taurus right now. Last year it was in Gemini, right? So I always go, and there's always the opposite sign of that zodiac sign. So now we have north node in Taurus, south node in Scorpio. The south node is where you already have lived this past life from, where these things that come naturally to you already.
Mhm.
These are probably gifts that you bring it into the north node from past life experience. It's like you sending a letter from here and from going there. So the north node is asking you, okay, you learned this information in your south node. In this lifetime, you did all these things, beautiful things, whether good or indifferent, bad. But what are you bringing to the table in this particular society and this particular north node and Taurus? What are some things that you're valuing that you can bring in here, that you can make a contribution to this world? So we are looking at our finances, our economics, the global stances, our health as well too, the things that we value, how we are taking care of our body as well too. That is very important, because we are in a universal 6 year. 2020 is a sixth universal year. So I have been noticing my readings that a lot of health issues has been coming up. And this is why I want to focus more on the health, because we are in the 6 year. And last year, not last year, 2 years ago, in the 4 year, these health were already coming up, that these health scares and all these things that were coming up already within your body. If you're not taking care of your body, not eating proper foods that you need, because our body needs minerals, right? In order to
Mhm.
survive, and it needs oxygen as well too. And to remove the disease in our body, because if you're not exercising, if you're not eating, incorporating the right foods in your body, to nourish your body, to give that your those part of your organs the supplement that it needs, then it's not going to function right. Your kidney's going to fail. Your organ's going to fail. So it's very important that we are taking our minerals, our herbs, and not all. You have to really read the labels on these herbs, because not every herb you should be taking. Make sure you read them and read what it's for and how to take it. Be very clear when you're taking herbs, because just as uh, the doctors prescribe you medication that can have side effects, so do the herbs as well too have side effects.
Would
So
that be more important right now, especially since Mercury is retrograde?
yeah, so when Mercury is because it's going to go back into Taurus. So Mercury's retrograded at 4 degrees, right? At 4 degrees Gemini. So you and I know that the numbers, so four, it jogs your memory of your home, your foundation, also hidden things that you didn't see, secrets as well too. But it also deals with the woman as well too. The woman, the foundation, the mother, how you were raised, how you were taught. It deals with ancestral information. So some of you, your memory may be jogged from previously lifetimes that you don't even know that you've been here, but the memory of it being in Gemini is also breaking up these ancient uh old times of you, where you may have past life. You may have been a beauty queen, a king, or whatever the images are showing you, because it's giving you awareness of who you are and what lineage that you come from.
Okay.
And also Gemini, it also deals with pain in the hands, your arms, your shoulders as well too. Gemini also deals with your childhood memories as well too. So what are some things that you've done in your childhood that's pretty much coming up around right now? These things can resurface right now with Gemini, and when Mercury and Gemini is retrograding. Not only that, communication. Of course, we know it rules communication. Your car probably stopped working, probably doing all these things. This is why mechanics around this time, they make money or they get more revenue because of the car problems that people are having, right? So I put to the test too one time, well, actually 3 times with Mercury retrograde. I asked the dealers, the people who's in the business of fixing your cars. I said, around this time and this time, would you really like jam pack and full to capacity with repairs? He said, yeah. I said, now that you at this time, it's kind of slow down, right? He's like, yeah, how you know? I'm like, I'm just doing a little research on my own, as far as planetary alignments. So with the Mercury retrograde, but it also indicate that people will want to talk, right? People want to share their ideas, their things, their information, want to be in connection, maybe start some board meeting conversation that's going on right now. Taking it back to the old school ways where we used to do have round tables and things are at as well. But also when it revert back into Taurus, Mercury's go up to on the 29th, it goes back into Taurus. So with it being with Mercury being back into Taurus, it also rules inflammation, earaches as well too, and this it also rules circulation, poor circulations as well in your within your body. You may get some leg cramps, ear infection, even sometimes toothache as well. When Mercury is in Taurus as well, and really listening. Listening is a very good key rather than talking. So let that person finish what they have to say, and then you pretty much jump in. And that's something that we I'm noticing a lot too lately when we having conversation. We say, yeah, okay, yeah, and then we go ahead and jump right on in, or we because things are coming so fast and so quick within our mind. When someone is talking, it's like you got to share it right now, because it's like you lose your train of thought. That's how fast it is. You have Uranus in Taurus right now, and Uranus in Taurus, of course, that those who are Taurus are very. If you look at the trends that Taurus people are doing, they're the one that's counseling, they're teaching, they're giving out information for the new era that's coming up through. They're the mentees, the mentors as well too. So you will see all these things, and their main goal is either economics or empowering women, empowering the man, also in the health society as well too. Going back into the back, because Taurus and the number 6 is pretty much an old-fashioned number. Not only is it old-fashioned, but a 6 energy is from generation, and generation, and generation, and generation from previously generations that they passed down these recipes and these things and,
Mhm.
and generations. So with that generation being said, with all those generations, you were seeing that these great granddaughters of these generations, or the nieces or the mothers, are coming up, and they are the one that's securing the foundation of now. We going back into being the first teachers again. We always the first teachers and responders as well, but we really are going back to the old ways of living, not so much living style, but the things that we used to do as far as eating, drinking, following the circulation of the stars and the moon, where you're supposed to eat like from 4 a.m. to 12 o'clock, your body is still detoxing, right? So you should be drinking a lot of liquids and waters. And then from 12 to about 6, that's when you go ahead and eat your most heaviest food, probably before 4. And then before 8 o'clock, your dinner should be really light. It shouldn't even be heavy. So you shouldn't be heavy when you go to bed. Because when you go to bed, what you eat, it's pretty much like you're either going to feel way down or you're going to feel weighed up or elevated as well. So being mindful of the foods that we are consuming in our bodies, and make sure that it has some life force to it. Eating
What
this
do you
dead,
mean?
even meat. I mean, and you think about the meat, you think about how they are growing this meat. I'm quite sure we have all watched some of these videos that they showing us how they are raising these chickens and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Even what a chicken wasn't even known like as a traditional food before, but it's really mixed with another bird and another bird, and you get a chicken. you know so
Okay.
we really got to go back into our studying, our teachings that our great grandfather used to do, and great grandmother used to do, because that's where the schooling is at. That's where the roots at. That's where the foundations are at. Even though a sixth person can be probably stingy and old school ways, like if you ask them to borrow $20 or something, they're gonna tell you a story while they get the money out in their pocket and deliver it while it's in your hand. They're gonna probably end the story, but they're gonna tell you really what the value of money is through the conversation of it. So they're the ones that's always hiding money, stash money for things like these recessions and thing that's coming up right now. So there's one that was hiding money, stashing money, got money in the wall, money in the car, money in the floors. Money is just pretty put up because they know the value of the dollar as well too. And from the great generations of the sixth energy is that the sixth energy is more about healing, healing. So as we can see now that we're doing certain things for our healing, for our health, maybe we move them to more to sound meditation. Meditation is very important, very key, because through meditation and through the still meditation, you can really find yourself. You can find out some information. You can even see things before they happen, and then you probably want to question yourself: is what we doing today has already happened? How many times you had a dream of things already happening, already occurring in our life? It's as if, not saying time doesn't exist, but time is for a structure, like the red and green and yellow lights. It's the structure. It keeps things in form, in motion. It keeps things in order
I
as
have a
well.
question.
Mm-hmm.
If on one hand there's a concern about sickness, wouldn't this also be an advantageous year to take advantage to improve the health by exercise, diet, weight loss, walking, soaking up the sun, fresh air? Also, believe it or not, increasing education. Wouldn't those also help in that sense? You would say.
Yes, being so what exercising. I'm not a coach or anything or physician when it comes to exercising, but what I do know is this: when you're not exercising and you're wondering why you got these dis-ease in your body, it's not moving around in your body to even for you to let it out like air. You have to breathe in the air. Air helps circulate things, but if you're not moving your muscles and moving your body, that dis-ease is still going to be there. So drinking your water, drinking your herbs, drinking your teas, drinking fruit that's more high in water, like melons and watermelons and cantaloupe, and then you drink you eat your other fruits as your raspberries and the blueberries and the strawberries. No, those are the things that give you the probably the acidic in your body that you need to balance it. And so the exercise, it pretty much gives you that release that you need in your body. It can reduce stress levels in your body as well too. And also when it comes to health, Think about fasting. How many of you can fast for a day? I know I fast once a day. I mean, once a week, every Tuesdays, I fast. And now I'm doing 3-day fasts. I do from Sunday through Tuesday. So it's just something that I'm personally doing myself for a health reason, a health vibe, because when you fast for 3 days, your cells in your body are fully regenerated, right? So you get more downloads, you get more information, you feel better, you giving your body time to process the food that you have been eating, because sometimes when we just constantly eating, you're wondering why you're feeling sluggish and way down, you got a brain fog, you can't think. So these are some things that we need to probably look into, as far as our health reason wise. Our health is very important and is linked to our wealth, and because if you can't think your way out of paper bag, then you're gonna have to do some things that health reason wise to get yourself back on track. And being in nature, taking a walk in nature, being outside, sitting in the sun, like they used to do back in the day when the sun was out. Not saying to go sit there and meditate in the sun, but it's good to go out there at least between 9 a.m. and 12 a.m. At 12 p.m., the sun is at its highest peak. So that's when the energy is really, really, really at the zinc, right? Like at the mid heavens, when the sun reaches that point, it's the zinc, it's the highest point of it. It has the highest melanin energy in it as well too. So that's what time between actually 9 a.m. Like walk barefooted on the ground when it's hot, if you can, if you're in that kind of environment. Walk barefooted on the ground. Make sure there's no glass and there's no things else, all that other good stuff. It's because you can get in tune with the frequency of the sun and increase your melanin in your body as well too.
I have a
vitamin D.
I have a comment and I have a
Mhm.
question. One comment is when you alluded to the number sixes at the bottom of your screen. Oh wow, her name is a six, and all of that. I have money stored all over. Remember, you said stored
Yes.
boxes, mattresses, whatever the case is. So Nika must be feeling that energy. And here's a question from Fox Sinatra saying, "Good evening, Lloyd and Kaya. I'm a Gemini. My shoulder always hurts. Why is that?" And they're born May 29th. So again, you were talking about various astrological parts of the body that governs different parts of the body.
And that's Gemini. And you see most people who are born on the 5th, the 14th, and 23rd, they either have broad shoulders or stocky shoulders, and their stomach sometimes kind of real big, a little bit like it don't fit, it don't match with their stomach, and their shoulders don't really match all the time.
Interesting.
Yeah. So with the shoulders, you need to start rotating your shoulders. And what are you doing? What kind of work do you do? Are you doing heavy lifting? Are you just sitting down? Are you exercising? Are you rotating your body? Those are some things. I'm not a doctor, but those are some things that Mercury rules the shoulders and the arms as
Well,
well
to
too,
me, I don't think we have to be a doctor to
and
exercise
the
with common
hands.
sense. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So just common sense would be that. They got other people, but I want to just see if there was some other comments or some things said because I know you said you wasn't going to get into reading today, but for those that may have questions or something that you said, that's what I'm interested in seeing.
Yeah, so let's go down the list, because we do have Saturn is not retrograding yet, but it will be in June, right after Mercury go direct. We got Saturn going retrograde. So let's start with Pluto.
Well, here's this Africa Beverly. She says, "Greeting family to my favorite numerologist," and I got a reading from both. I would imagine that you and myself. Thank you, Africa. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Africa.
But I read so many, many people, which I am very thankful. Um, but now, let me say this too, for what it's worth. With education, education, I think, is very important too, because that is good for mental health. See, don't forget, we talked about the physical side of the health,
Mm-hmm.
but even more importantly is the spiritual health,
Yeah.
the mental health. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah, and that's what this six bring. When you're doing these things, when you're learning what fruit you should be eating for what part of the brain, what part of the body, that's educating yourself. That's self-educating yourself as well too. You don't have to be a doctor to self-educate yourself, or we can tell you what you should eat and whether, because they get it from ancient times. They the information has been given from way back then. They just use it in their life, and actually A doctor should really give you the holistic way before they give you even prescribe you the medication as well, because that's what they go to school for, right? They're studying these things already, but they don't tell you that. Why? Because you don't ask. And if you don't ask, you're not going to get the results you need to get. So they can keep, so if you tell them you're more holistic and stuff, I think it's called an information consent form that you can ask the doctor, and they have to give you that information. They have to give you the holistic part. But of course, most of them don't, that people don't ask.
But why is it you think that people are afraid to ask, and yet it's their body?
Maybe some
Why,
just
why do you
don't
think
know,
that
because
is?
we think people in white coats, because they've been to school and they learned, and they have the experience of that. We think we know that they know. But actually, if you ask a doctor what's the ingredients inside this vaccination, or what's these ingredients inside whatever they want to give you, or even the pill, can they run it down to you? Can they tell you the actual side effects of it? And so it's it baffles me sometimes when I go to the doctors and the first thing they want to do you is prescribe you some narcotic drugs. That's what pretty much what they are, right? They're not. It's just the natural blend with the synthetic.
Well, I know this person here says else mental health, yes, because mental health is very, very important. In fact, um, let me say, here's one comment from our listeners. It says, I found that doctors are hesitant to holistic practices. They're really unfamiliar with neuropathic prescriptions. And I
Yeah.
don't know whether that's something, uh, you know, for example, there's the neuropathic path, then there's the pharmaceutical path, and it seems like the pharmaceutical want to more predominate. But there should be options that people should be able to take, I would think, in a case like this. Thanks, Carolyn, for that comment too.
I want
Uh,
to say too with that holistic approach. Yeah, some doctors are resistant because they're not making any money off of it, so they have to make money off of what they prescribe you. So that can be one thing as well. And when you don't ask, you're not going to get the results. But when you do start asking, and then they're gonna step away from giving you prescriptions if you tell them that you do natural remedies and stuff like that, because it's like if it's been working for you, and you continue to do that, but if it's not working for you, then that's when they're gonna step in and prescribe you those kind of prescription and drugs, whatever. And sometimes it can be good to your benefit, it can be not. But just know, and my uncle always taught me, he's an old school kind of guy, that prescriptions only prolong your life. You don't want to prolong your life. You want to enhance your life, keeping your lifespan up. And that's what it does, those prescription does. It has side effects. Read the side effects and see what organ does it affect. Yeah, they're gonna give you the one that's healthy, but I mean the good things about it. But what's the side effects? Everything has a duality to it, the good and bad. It has to balance.
well, I guess it's interesting because one of the medical mottos is do no harm, but it seems like there's more about the bottom line than about the bottom line of a person's health
Mm-hmm.
welfare. Maybe this is why the United States, which is one of the few so-called civilized countries, don't take a more holistic or proactive approach to health, which is preventive health, not
Mm-hmm.
waiting until you get sick and then we got all these things we can prescribe to you. And we're not trying to knock the communities for those that's getting uptight. Don't get uptight. It's not that serious. But we're saying, but people are asking questions because first of all, it's very expensive to get sick. It's very
Yes.
expensive to recover. And some of these medications can be in the thousands and thousands of dollars per prescription
Mm.
and whatnot. So why not take a more either organic or neuropathic or natural approach to this? These are all the things we're questioning. So it's not that, like last week I had Brandon on, and Brandon wanted to talk about health. And, so sometimes people will use disclaimers, but
Mm-hmm.
there can be no disclaimers because health indicators have been indicated in astrology and numerology since the beginning of time, way before the American Medical Association even thought about getting here. So
Yeah.
these are things. So what would they have to do? Destroy all the books or say the books don't count? But there is definitely a method to the ancient sciences that have been used to prescribe potentials of a person. So I don't think it should take offense. I think it should be actually a kind of like a compliment, a compliment. Now
It should
here,
go both ways.
I think so too. That's why I'm saying I don't see what the complication is. So here, this what Melanie Hall from Melbourne, Australia says exercise and fasting, which is exactly what you mentioned, and especially fasting.
Yes.
I also do fasting once a week, also in addition to meditation. It gives the body a break. I'm
Hmm.
also into a lot of cat naps too.
Yes.
Having cats, and if for the cat owners, they will tell you cats sleep more often than they stay awake. So now I see where that phrase cat nap comes in.
Hmm.
Here in New York on the Empire State Building, there was a Japanese company whereby you go there and you rest for 20 minutes. In other countries like Spain and France, they have siestas and whatnot. So at 12 noon and 1 o'clock, the town shuts down for an hour or two. So you're not caught up in the work. But here we're taught we got to eat and rush to work, eat through work, lunch, everything, breakfast, we're eating at the
Hmm.
desk and
Three
whatnot. So
meals a day.
maybe just kind of reevaluating only because it's so expensive to get sick.
Yes, it is so expensive, and eating 3 meals a day. I mean, if you do that, you're not really allowing your body time to break down those foods properly. You just constantly consuming. So even who people who work at nighttime, you really shouldn't be eating at night. Your body is doing its job, it's resting, it's digesting the food that you ate. But I understand, but since this world some people have night shifts, they sleep, they work more at night and they sleep more in the daytime. So by the time they get to work, of course, their rhythm is totally off. Their rhythm is off, and I think it's something called the circadian rhythm that we should be really eating our meals from. I mean, the times of meal that we should eat our meals from, and which is pretty much between 12 and 8, between 4 and 12, before 4 a.m. and 12 p.m. Your body is definitely detoxing, it's releasing. Also, you should drink a lot of water, ginger tea, or herbs, whatever your liking may be in tea. That'll be a good time. Think about it in China. They're always drinking tea, right? In China, right? Because they
Yeah,
know
yeah.
it's not because of the tea, but it's the contamination in the water as well too. And that's why they put the herbs in their water as well. And boiling your water. When I was growing up, mom always put a little salt in your water so you can build the bacteria and things out of your water. Sterilize the water.
Well, you know what's interesting? I remember when the Nation of Islam was at its height here in Harlem, and there was the notion of in Elijah Muhammad's book, How to Eat to Live. And it talked about 1 meal a day. And I noticed that they were knocking him. Yet the very top shelf insurance company I was working with at that time says the recommended thing is having 1 meal a day.
Mm.
But they
Yeah.
didn't knock the company I was working with, but yet they would knock the nation. So what I'm saying is, especially since there's supposedly a threatening of food shortage
Yes.
coming up,
And water.
mysterious fires of meat plants being burned, I
Mm-hmm.
think people may have to go that way of learning how to eat 1 meal a day or eating every other day. Not
Yeah.
if you want to, but if you have to, and let me tell you, you can't live. I remember seeing this person where the guy lives off air.
Yeah. I think that
Now
too.
he
You
is
can't
thin as
believe
a
it.
rail, but he lives off air.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and then God provides things through fruits and vegetations and whatnot. So, yes, we've gotten accustomed to eating meats and stuff. We're, I guess, meat eaters by nature to a degree. But in light of what is going on, the irony of this, if there is a food or meat shortage, there may be more benefits to the nation than adversely so, because first of all, people will lose weight, and as they lose weight, because one of the major factors in health here is obesity. Now, true, you and I are not medical doctors, but we know that people are very, very obese from overeating and whatnot, improper diet. But if there is this so-called projected food shortage, water shortage, and everything, I think that if people start getting into the notion of
Fasting.
eating in a regular way, in a strategic way too, not just eat on impulse, because they got the comfort food and people are depressed or whatever,
Yeah.
you got to grab something to eat. But if I think people start learning how to eat intelligently, and by the way, for those of you out there, Kaya and I, we're no nutritionists, we're no doctors, but I would like to think my mother and father taught me some common sense.
Yes, they
Okay,
did.
And so, therefore, that is what I'm going to use. And you'll be surprised that if you look up the benefits of fasting, the benefits of detoxing, it will help
Mhm.
you help yourself. It will save a lot of money from the medical industry, which is, but again, if the motto is to do no harm, I don't see why there should be a problem with people wanting to do no harm to their own bodies if they have some say over it.
Yeah, and you know what you can do too, is get your blood check regular. Because the blood check can tell you what's going on in your body and where you're lacking at and where you have deficiencies at in your body. So you can always that's one tool that you can use, besides having the MRI done or X-ray done or scans done. That's just one way because the blood supplies our body, right? It circulates and everything. And if the blood can't filter or circulate in certain areas, then that's where you probably having some discomfort at in your body. And I wanted just to go over, since we have the planetary alignment, that exactly where these alignments are at. Like right now we have Saturn in Aquarius right now. And this can also deal with depression as well too. Saturn in Aquarius, mental depression, mental stress, mental stress, should I say, and also can rule toothaches and head pains and ear infection and inflammation in the body as well to import circulation, cramps on your legs, and bruises. So you may wake up and you got a bruise because you're sleeping, but you may have something on the side for too long. The blood is not circulating in your body. So that's one thing with Saturn and Aquarius as far as where it's positioned right now in the chart.
And that's interesting too, because in addition to that, it also governs the knees, as you said, the knees, the teeth, the bones, in this case, of course, also the ankles. So
Mm-hmm.
these are always indicators. But for those that may not know that in astrology, normally when a woman is afflicted, is normally more to her left side. For a
Mm-hmm.
man, it's more to his right side. Now, it doesn't mean 100% for men always on the right or 100% for women always on the left, but on a scale of 1 to 10, about 7 or 8, 8 or 9, because like, for example, if a woman calls and she has a lot of ones, right? Ones rule the
Mm-hmm.
eyes. And if it's a woman, I would say she would have more problems to the left eye than the right eye. I have been doing this too many years and getting too many feedbacks. I've done this on major TV shows. Nobody's ever said, brother, you don't know what you're talking about. Now, and I'm not a doctor, but
Mm-hmm.
I study the metaphysics, and the metaphysics can act as a guide to help you too. Now, what we
Yes.
do, astrology, numerology, does not take the place of a doctor, but at least it gives you a clue. So when you go to your doctor, to help him help you.
That, and you know what, and that is key because we because numbers are ruled by the zodiac signs and the planetary things, and these planetary and zodiac signs are ruled by body parts, right? Are ruled by certain organs of your body. So I remember clearly when my mother was in the hospital, they wanted to do surgery on her neck. It was a full moon in Taurus. I'm like, yo, this is not a good time to do
Yep.
surgery on your
Yep.
neck.
Yep.
Okay. And I'm like, it won't be I'm not gonna say it won't be, but there's a high possibility that it will not go right, it won't heal right. It'll be a slow, very, very, very slow healing approach. So if you would get surgery done and the same sign that the organ is. So it was and this has happened. I have examined this more than once, more than twice, more than 3 times. The people who I have known who have probably asked me and I didn't want to tell them, because I want to be liability for that. But just doing it on based on numerical aspect of it, I have noticed that when they had got surgery is either in Mercury retrograde, whether it was in Pisces that got something with their feet done, whether it's in Cancer, some stomach, gastro bypass or something, or even with the neck or those things. So I have noticed that most of the times, some of them did not make it through.
And
My mother didn't make it through.
those are the wrongest time in astrology. The rule is you don't get operated on that part of the body that is where the moon is in the sign that day. In other words, so if a person is getting operated on their foot, which is assigned to Pisces, the the day of the procedure, the foot procedure, should be as far away as possible in the sign of Virgo, which is
Mhm.
at its direct opposition or some other sign. Now, please don't get upset, those who are doctors or practitioners. This is not stuff I made up. This is not stuff that Miss French has made up. These are things that have been here since the beginning of time. This is why I'm saying I don't have a problem I would appear not to be a threat to anybody in that way, but I am about servicing and helping humanity
Mhm.
in helping themselves. So I can't help in a surgical procedure, I can't help in a medical procedure, but metaphysically, we can help guide people as to what their inclinations are leaning on based upon their zodiac signs or their birth numbers. So
Mhm.
I think that's what makes all the difference in the world. I know you don't have too much time, so let me just put your banner up here a second so people, as they say, put you on blast, goddess Kaya, so people can see what's happening. So you wanna let people know what you're doing, what you are up to?
Yes, I'm up to some great, amazing things with these numbers. I have several projects coming out around summertime. So after the retrograde is when I will be putting out my work. So stay tuned to that. You can always stay tuned on my Instagram, which is Know Your Numbers, KNOWYOUR, NUMB 3RS, no E, but the 3RS. It's my Cash App number, it's my contact number, and my website is kayafrench.com, where you can go on consultation and book your any kind of session. Well, not any kind, but the session that I offer. You can book those sessions as well. You can also sign up to our monthly moon letter that Lord and I write every month. Um, May is out, it been out. So you can go to my website and sign up. You can also go to Lloyd-Strayhorn website and also sign up as well too for your free monthly moon newsletter. Does not cost. You can just put in your email if that's what you want. That's fine. You can also leave your birthday as well too. And I want to say this too with these,
Oh,
but with me knowing the numbers and numerology, when my mother was in the hospital, I numerically pretty much gave them a description through the numbers of what time to get her medicine, what times I get her medicine, and what when things would start going kind of crazy and stuff like that. I did these based upon the numbers, and I watched these and I studied them, and the things that I have gave them really works. Okay, they were calling me like, "Hi, Miss French. They calling my sister trying to get to me." But the numbers is the science, and if the doctor studied the science of things, numbers is a science too. It was the science of numbers.
that's true. Now, let me say this. I bear witness because when my mother was in the hospital for about almost 2 or 3 weeks, I was able to tell the doctors what day would be much better for her than other days, which days would be
Yeah.
more challenging, and suggested maybe one doctor began to look at me in a
Mhm.
more serious way. Other than that, it's like, who am I? I don't have no Emmy, as my sister used to call it, a nurse, God on it. You know what I'm saying? But we all have cycles. We all have cycles that we do. And in fact, there's certain religious bodies that if a patient, their family member is close to death, they will actually change the name to change the frequency. So
Mhm.
these are all ancient things that have been out way before we got here, way before the CDC, the FDC, the AMA, all these other things. So for those in these organizations, don't take offense, but maybe
Mhm.
just be open enough to look to see, well, why did this happen? And does that correlate? That's called research, I would
It's
think.
research. It was definitely research. And the day my mother made her transition, or the things went going crazy for her, I pretty much timed that particular time. And it's so magically happened that I did everything by the numbers, right? And some of it was not knowingly that I did. I told these people to go this day to the hospital. Like I lined everybody else up, and the day that I went, it just so magically was the day that things went kind of haywire for her. And it was pretty much from the list that I gave the doctor. Even one doctor even assigned her stuff off the case, okay, because they couldn't tell me the truth. I knew the truth. I knew the truth, okay. And but it was the numbers that gave me the information around certain time. And when I go into her records, they took that time, they blocked that time frame off, okay. And whatever went down happened, they did not put that in the description when I asked, when I request the records of her of what happened from when she was in and when she came out. That time on that day was blocked out, and then they jumped to another time. I'm like, y'all think y'all slick. So be
Yeah, yeah,
cautious when you go into the hospital, and think about it. It's pretty much set up like a deathbed, like a like that kind of area. I'm not trying to say anything because people do get they heal themselves in the hospital, but it almost seems like, but you come home with this bag of prescription. Is any of it helping you? So we have to not have to, but it'll be good to go back. There's a book called Back to Eden, that has a lot of
Yeah, Jethro Kloss.
yes, I
Jethro
have a
Kloss.
lot of things that you can do and remedies you can take and herbs you can take. But be mindful, be careful about taking herbs because everything has a side effect to it as well. And depends on what your circumstance is already in your body and the issues that's going on in your body. You need to be mindful of taking certain herbs. Now you can't just jump on the diet. You can't even jump on a detox.
Well, it's all well. See, but this is why timing is very important in understanding the phases of the moon. Listen, when in NASA, when they send rockets up into space, they don't send it up any old time. They send it up according to the cycle of the moon, the sun, and the other planets to make sure when it goes up, there's everything is in perfect alignment, even in its landing. But I will say this: when you talked about the doctors, their top 10 diseases or causes of death in this country. One is like heart disease, blood pressure, things like that. And one of the top 10s, believe it or not, is medical errors in the hospitals.
Oh,
Nothing personal. I didn't write the stats. So don't get upset with me. I'm saying you can check these things out for yourself. And it's not that all doctors or hospitals make, but doctors are human too.
Yeah.
We're human and we tend to make mistakes. And sometimes there are people that can be misdiagnosed. So timing is everything. And I know from experience when I was in school one time, one of my colleagues, her sister went in for a so-called routine exam like Joan Rivers and never made it out. You know what I'm saying? So it's very, very important that we take care of ourselves. You only have one life to live.
Yeah.
This year is the cycle of health 2022. And it is definitely a health cycle, especially with the respiratory body, the nose, the throat, the upper part of the lungs, with women, the mammary glands, with both men and women in a sixth influence, heart palpitations, and irregular blood circulations and things like that. So it's not that Kaya is saying it or Lloyd is saying it. I'm saying these are what the numbers indicate. These numbers are ancient in its definitions way back in time. Okay, way before we got here, way before these associations got here. And so when you go back all these years back in time, as again, the argument isn't with us and whatnot. So people should not get bent out of shape, okay, because it's not about that party. It's not that serious, okay? But to understand that you and I, through proper awareness and consciousness, right eating, diet, things of that nature. Because if what they say is true, that supposedly the projections of a food shortage, maybe water shortage, the mysterious fires burning the meat plants and whatnot, maybe it is in your best interest to learn how to begin to eat one meal a day, as the Honorable Elijah Muhammad says. How to Eat to Live, book 1 and 2, and I worked in the top 10 insurance company in the country, and their thing was one meal a day.
But they don't tell you this all the time.
No,
though.
no,
They don't. No. They put you
but
on.
they knocked the nation, though. They knocked the nation.
Yeah.
They knocked this insurance company I was working for at the time, who shall be nameless at the time, but that was their preferred choice. So when you got it, and understanding that the dietary laws of digestion takes normally 10 to 12 hours from the time you put something in your mouth until it completes its complete digestive process. So if you start out eating breakfast and then you get to work and about 4 or 5 hours later you have lunch, and then you get home about another 5 or 6 hours later, then you have dinner, then you have snacks. It's like layer upon top of layer upon top of layer, which I think is why people will have challenges now with obesity, which was not the case before.
No.
Yes, there were always some heavy people, but it just seems to be very, very common. And I think one of the blessings will be, it all depends on how you look at your half glass of water in life. You can look at it as either, well, it's all these things are good gracious, we're not going to eat. It's like in 2020, when they had this panic, there was a Canadian couple that went to the supermarket and bought all the meat in the supermarket. Of course, their thing was mud, but they bought all the meat. But what happens if there's no meat? You can live without meat. You can do without certain things. You just going to have to acclimate your body. And so actually this, if it is true, and there may be a shortage of this, that, and the other, may actually be a blessing in disguise for this nation more than more than people can think of.
Yes.
So that's my take. So
and
I know
one other
you have
thing
5
is,
minutes.
I'm gonna just briefly run through since we have the I'm gonna go through the alignment of the universe right now with the stars. Let me just fix my mic. I just kicked it off. 1 second. Hold on, please.
Go right ahead. And by the way, you are a columnist and you also do a gratitude class, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. So on Clubhouse, 6 a.m. 6 a.m. on the rising time.
That's
right?
exactly right.
Doesn't matter where you at. 6 a.m. is the starting point of the rising time.
The
Doesn't matter where
ascendant.
you at
Yep.
in the world. It's the rising. It's sunrise and sunset, right? 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. So every morning at 6 a.m., I'm on Clubhouse under Know Your Numbers. You can find me there, or under my name, Kai French. You can find it on Clubhouse at 6 a.m., where we do 28 days of gratitude. Right now, I am on round 4 of gratitude. And why is gratitude? Because gratitude is a lifestyle, just like your diet. You're giving gratitude, you're giving thanks. We say our prayers where our mothers teach us, and our grandmothers teach us how to say prayers before you eat, before you walk outside the door. I used to say a prayer when I get up, and every day in the morning on my way to work. I just say a prayer for the living and the dead, and for my whole day period, and just for protection around me. So gratitude is pretty much like that. It's giving thanks, it's giving honor, it's giving thanks for your life. It's the appreciation of the love, appreciation of the trees that give you oxygen, the trees that grow, the tree of life, the fruits and the betterment, the better things grow, the herbs, they all grow on tree forests and on from Mother's Nature, from her ground, from her womb. Okay, that's why the South Node is in Scorpio. You will probably hear a lot of women are going through a lot of illness within their womb, and also the man too as well. And I look at it as the soil of the earth, right? Because it's the 8th house of transformation. Is where we give birth and life from. We definitely we transform and we bring birth. So that is the woman's womb as well too. And I look at it as the soil. If the soil doesn't have the minerals that we need, then the food that we're eating doesn't have the minerals neither. We're going to have to eat more than more than 1 apple a day or 2 apples a day. You're going to have to start eating 10 apples a day just to get the minerals in the apple. So what can we do? For one, raise our vibration, our love, and our hands. 6 people, if you come in contact with them this particular year, born in 6/15 and 24, or under a sign of Taurus or Libras, they have healing abilities. If you just touch them, and being by us being so distant from people, if you come into contact with them, even the aura field will give you a healing vibe. You may just get healed from them, and they don't even know they're doing it, but it's just the universal energy of that 6th energy that's causing you. It's a vibration in their body that's causing you to heal whatever issues you got. You may even feel like whatever mood you were in, it just instantly went away when you got contact with this person, or you want to just touch this person. I just got to touch you, because the 6th energy person, they just got to touch you. They're lovey kind of people in the family, hugging you, kissing you, touching you, all the love, right? That's the 6th energy. That you got to come to my house and have a meal. You got to come to my house and have a conversation. This phone stuff, all the other kind of stuff, that really don't really work right with them all the time. You got to come see me in person.
All right. And one more thing, you didn't mention that you are also a columnist.
Yes, I am a columnist for the New York Amsterdam News. You can find my columns that I write. Also, I post them on my Instagram under Know Your Numbers. I beautify myself as well. So just a little quick rundown with we have Saturn in Aquarius, like I told you about. What's interesting? We got Saturn in Aquarius, right? And they're saying that this new variant virus is causing stomach problems, right? Stomach, right? So the domino effect. That's the trait of Saturn in Aquarius right now as well. And then you have Mars and Pisces. That deals with the venereal diseases, your sex organ as well, some cysts on your ovaries, the particular thing, having fever as well. And then you have the Venus and Aries that deals with any kind of head injuries. You might feel lethargic or might feel tiredness. So kidneys, check on your kidney as well. They help with filterization of the body, and your sinuses may be a little bit going on, maybe going haywire, and your ear aches as well too. But Jupiter and Aries, high blood pressure. How many of y'all have high blood pressure nowadays? And they giving y'all these pills to take that's even causing y'all more to have high blood pressure. You may faint. have strange dreams as well too. Your imagination is very vivid, but maybe a little bit off a little bit while you're getting these information. And also your spine, the spine on your body as well, and heart population, like you just mentioned as well too. Venus and Taurus, so that's like a Mercury kind of thing right now. Is really jogging your memory to go back into the ancient times. Um, Ancient civilization. You probably getting images of flashing of Egypt. I'm not sure how many people are getting that right now, but I know people have came to me and are getting it. Also, with Uranus is Taurus. Once it hits your degree, whatever you have it in Taurus at, either you're relocating, you're beautifying your home, you're changing your dietary, but it's a preparation of it. And this sixth energy is deliberately slow for you for this particular year, like move like a turtle and a snail. Why? Because it wants you to feel it, the six senses. I want you to hear it, it wants you to touch it, it wants you to smell it. So all these things, think about a man. He got his nice shiny rims and a nice car, he got the candy paint kind of stuff on, driving down the neighborhood. What he gonna do? He gonna drive down your block real slow, right? Real slow, so you can see the rims and see the decoration inside the car. So this is how this energy is flowing. And then it's going boom, suddenly pick up one day. So we're gonna go to a panic again, right? With this chaos, with the shortest stuff, like it's really gonna hit real once it goes into that panic, because it was the build-up processing. If you're ordering things are very slow, from the post office to deliveries to equipment that you need, the inventory that you need. Everything is pretty much slow right now. But at one point coming up by September, it's going to go real fast, and then sudden changes are going to happen as well.
Good. And I tell you what, if you don't go to your class in 3 minutes, somebody's going to be in a panic. So anyway, I want to thank you very much for joining us, Goddess Kaya French. And as you see, let me give her, this is her planner. And don't, you know how I feel about Cash App. She stepped out on faith. If you've seen her on twice before, talked about how she left her job like quite a few other people we had. And up the road, I'm going to have other astrologers like Dominic Holmes back in July. I'm going to have Hood Mystic. I'm going to have a whole lot of people that's going to keep you current and update with what's going on in the planets and the heavens. Okay, so you'll know exactly what's going on. But Kaya, thank you very, very much. And by the way, I'm going to stay on for at least a couple of more minutes and read the many people that wanted to get a session. And while I'll do a quick through, but in the meantime, I want to respect her. And you got about 2 minutes before your class starts.
Yeah, I'm about to go. So thank you so much for having me on. Thank you, everybody. Peace, love. And one thing we do every day is breathe it in and hold it, and then let it go.
All righty. But that said, I think everybody needs it. And you'd be surprised if people think they can breathe too.
Man, we ain't even breathing right. Really.
If people only knew. But anyway, Kaya, thank you. Thank you. Get to your class, and God bless you. All right.
Thank you. Peace.
Blessed day. So everybody, what I'm going to do is I'm going to stay with you a little longer so I can take some of your readings. By the way, two things. One, this weekend I had a pleasure of meeting the distinguished brother James Dawson out of Texas. And he's a number 4. His wife is a number 4. He talked about how they went through a process for 13 years. Everything about him was a 4. And in fact, when we talked, it happened to have been on the 13th day, that past Saturday. So it's just very, very Friday. Was it Friday or Saturday? I know, no, it's Friday the 13th. That's exactly when it was, Friday the 13th. And by the way, for those of you who are curious as to this, what they call, I forgot the original name. I'll think of it in a moment. But anytime the first of the month falls on a Saturday, that second Friday is always Friday the 13th. So if you ever want to know if it falls on, if the first of the month, of any month, I don't care what month it is, falls on a Sunday, then the following Friday will be Friday the 13th. But he was out of Texas, and his intentions was to see me, and really one of the nicest things. And today I had the pleasure of meeting the beautiful Cynthia, an August 5th lady out of Brooklyn, the 8 of diamonds. She was so nice. And the reason why, because I rarely get to see the people who comment on the show, see the show. But in this case, with Brother Dorsey, so I said, man, your home looks just like the library. Yes, this is not a fake library. These are real books. And I read these books too. I mean, this is one of the important things that I've learned through my dad, who was self-taught but would read all the time. His head was always in a book. And I was thinking about him today. One of my best heroes, my father. Anyway, But anyway, I want to say a shout out to Cynthia because she was so pleasant. She was so happy to see me and whatnot. She listens all the time. So Cynthia, this is for you. Thank you. So now I'm going to open up the comment section. All righty, and I'm going to start. Let's see. Now I won't be able to go in depth because that would take me at least another hour. But I'm going to spend at least a good 20-30 minutes or so. Now this person here is. Keisha, she's born in Philly. She is October the 30th. Okay. So there's so much I can read to a person, but what I want to do is this. I want to give you your key numbers, your power days, and the cycle that you're in. In this case, for her, she is a water sign with a fire number. Her numbers are the 3, 9, and 6 in that order. Her best months are always in the months of March, April, May, October, November, December. And she happens to be in a one personal year, which is a one need. That means you need to look out for number one this year. You know, sometimes we put people in front of us, we let them go first. We say, okay, you take care of yourself first, but the cycle you in suggests that you got to be taking care of you first and foremost this year, if that's what you want to do. All righty. We have this person here, Devon. Devon is a Leo, a fire sign with an air number. Their numbers are the 5, 4, and 1. This particular year, they happen to be in a 9 cycle year, which means this year you need to close the books on anyone or anything, Devon, that has been a drag or a burden or a waste on your resources, your time, effort, and energies. And then I have Marceline, who is born on the 30th of, did I get it right here? Let's see. Because I've got so many people coming, but I'm going to just do a smattering, Joe. This person is a fire sign with a 5 number, which means they got a lot of energy, Marceline. Marceline, I hope I'm saying the name right. Um, Also very ambitious, very determined. This is an unstoppable person, but this person is in a 2/11 personal year. So that means this is the year of revelation, the year of insightfulness, a year to gain new concepts and ideas and be open to kind of come up with inventive ways to do some of the most simplest things. So when you see late at night on TV, this strange gadget comes on and says like, man, I could have thought of that myself. Yeah, that's the kind of cycle that this particular person is in. I had my good buddy Brandon Smith, one of my brothers, my baby brother. He was talking about how the personal years for him starts at the birthday. So if that's the case, that means she would be in a one personal year, not reaching her 11th birth, a two personal year until November the 30th. But me and Brandon, we're gonna have to hash that out. We're gonna have to do some research on that. Okay. But anyway, I'm open because that's how you learn. That's how you grow. You don't know everything, folks. Okay. This person here, Chanel Lowell, said she's born in Long Island, New York, and she is 1177. So she is a Cancer, I mean, excuse me, a Capricorn 1 person, Earth sign with a 5 number. And she's Capricorns are your leadership signs, among others, of course. And 1 is a leadership number, among others, of course, which means Chanel should either be a manager, supervisor, director, run her own business, entrepreneur, call it what you will. Sometimes you got to understand we have these titles we get caught up in, but she could be just managing to sustain her life through her ingenuity, her tenacity, her stick to it, and inventiveness, but she would still be an entrepreneur in my book. Again, we get so much caught in the titles about this, that, and the other, but that's all the classification method, and sometimes it's not always good. But this person's numbers are the 1, the 4, and the 8, and they happen to be in an 8 personal year. And since 8 is one of their numbers, and it's a number representing a power and authority, this would be a good time for them to really rock the house and do some of the things they want to do. Now, here we have Electro Rhapsody. Now, this is rare because this is a birthday that doesn't come often. In fact, it comes every 4 years because this is a leap year baby. Although I'm wondering about that because normally leap years fall in an even year, not an odd year like 1969. So I'm gonna check. I'm gonna check that later. Okay, but I'm gonna take it for what it is right now. That she knows when she's born. But normally leap years are every even year. Okay, like 1940, 80, something like that. But anyway, here's the thing. Your key, you would be a water sign with a water number if this is your case, Electra, electric, okay? It would also indicate, therefore, super sensitive, super emotional, but super intuitive too, since Pisces is called the psychic sign in astrology, two is called the psychic number in numerology, and water, the element that governs both your sign and number, always rules intuitions, feelings, inner emotions, and hunches, and things of that nature. So here's my question though. If she is born February the 29th, that means that she have to wait every 4 years. And if so, what birthday does she celebrate? In other words, does she celebrate February 28th or does she celebrate March the 1st? My notion, since I have a topic and a discussion on the compound numbers, I would suggest she follow March the 1st as a birthday rather than February the 28th. But that's a whole nother story for another time. But anyway, that would also change the flavor too. This person says, read my birthday, Keisha. She's born October the 30th. Oh, I read you earlier. So let me go to this person here. This is a relationship one. Now it's interesting. I'm working on something dealing with looking for commonalities and stuff like that, which I was talking about today. But in this case, she is born on Goddess Imani. She is the earth sign with an earth number. He is a fire sign with an air number. So these are unlike elements, and it's not unlike in the sense that they have their own way of thinking. And I think a lot of times couples they gotta think just like them. No, you must allow for a person's individuality to come through. Okay. This is why everybody don't get up at the same time, go to bed at the same time, wash up at the same time, whatever the case is. So if she understands that, so what he would have to understand is this is a woman that he's dealing with, Goddess Imani, is very pragmatic, very grounded, love to keep it real because she can't help herself. But at the same time, she must understand that she's dealing with a guy who likes to go off the beaten path, very unconventional, has his own moves, sometimes don't feel like being bothered with nobody, and always will likely to do something that she would least expect, which might bring some of the excitement into the relationship. I don't know. And interesting in numerology, there's always this attractions between fours and eights. Some fours and eights can be very beneficial to each other. And then some fours and eights, these are sometimes considered the fatalistic numbers. That is, if this couple find that every time they go somewhere, there's a problem or a near miss or like, oh, wow, then maybe they should get some space between them. But again, you have another couple for decades wrote some of the greatest music of Motown, Nick Ashford and Valerie Simpson. He was a four, and Nick Ashford was an eight, and their songs just made history. So there are always exceptions to the rules. So anyway, Goddess Imani, all the best with that. Beautiful interview. Thank you, Carolyn Jones. This is Jackie. She's born the same day as Barry White that I had the pleasure of meeting at WBLS one day at the radio station. I gave him a copy of my book too. Your birthday indicates that this is a time for you to fulfill dreams because you happen to be in a 9 personal year. Your key numbers are the 3, 6, and 5 in that order. And your best months would always be in the months of March and May and June, followed by September, October, and the months of December. It also tells me when you were younger, you attracted older relationships. And since you got older, they become younger for whatever reason, which is none of my business. But if you understand the cycles of these numbers and whatnot, you'll see. But that's it. Those are your key numbers. Oh, and by the way, you're in a 9 personal year, which so this is the year to wrap things up. So for Deborah, she's born May the 2nd. So she's an earth sign with an air, she's an earth sign with a water number. And that's what happens when you're rushing. So I need to slow it down. So this simply means that she's very pragmatic and very emotional and intuitive, artistic, creative, and romantic. She would have a love of dance and theater. Her key or important numbers are the 2, 7, and 6. And the 3 numbers in numerology that are considered psychic are the 2, 6, and 7, and she possesses all 3. So I'll tell anybody dealing with Deborah, don't play the sister. Don't say, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. I would not embarrass myself. I mean, you don't have to listen to me, but she'll probably tell you that's right. She called a lot of people on the carpet, trying to run some game on her, and it didn't work at all. But anyway, those are her numbers. Her best months again are March, followed by May, followed by July, followed by October. These are primarily her months. Okay. Anyway, so thank you very much. And this is Elsie. She is a water sign with an earth number. So that means she's sensitive, but yet she likes to keep it real. So yes, she can be in her feelings, but yet she likes to have control on her feelings because eight people are normally very conservative. Eight tend to be misunderstood. So I have this model with number eight people and number four people that when you hang it over the door, to know Elsie is to love Elsie in this case. All right. This is a person that as you get to know them, they're warm, they're loyal, they're faithful. Their lucky numbers are the 8, 2, and 7. Their best days are always on a Saturday, a Monday, and a Friday. And they tend to do extremely well during the months of January, March, May, July, and October more than any other time. And I'm looking at the fact that they are in a three personal year. So this is the year for expansion. This is the year for growth. This is the year for them to have a good time. Okay. And thank you, sister. You need it. Okay, that was for Kaya. It was here. Jackie Fumo says, thank you. Continue blessings to you both. Thank you very much. And listen, the things y'all send to me and my guests. And here's the nice thing. When I had Brandon on last week, okay, last Wednesday, he actually got a student from Chicago. I think the guy's a teenager, wanting Brandon to teach him. And it was so rewarding to see that. You know what I'm saying? And so these are, listen, I am of the 20th century, so to speak, and put in the 21st century. But most of these people you see on this stage here, all these astrologers, the Dominics, the Kayas, the Jackies, the Brandons, the Kings, these are all the people moving into the 21st century and beyond. And these are the people that will eventually go into the record books and the history books. Not that they want to go into the record books, but they will be known historically for bringing to this world enlightenment, raising the humanity of our culture, our society, our world. And so these are the things to understand. So again, as I said, for the people that send me nice compliments about the show, my secret sauce is all these guests that I've been blessed to come across and learn from them as well as they be receptive to learn from me. So it's a nice win-win situation. This person here says her 9-year-old has a stomach virus. Yesterday, she used lots of sound frequencies, crystals to help detox. And in fact, I'm going to have Nikki Monty on soon, which is the Sonic Alchemist, along with Nikki Morgan. Okay, so they're two NMs. One is Nikki Monty, one is Nikki Morgan. I'm going to be having them on Monday, the 24th or something like that, 20th, 23rd, something like that. They have an event coming up. And so sound is working. Sound is used to break up things too. There are so many metaphysical components and non-medical components that are used too. So please, what I'm saying is be open and receptive to any and all modalities that make you a better, healthier individual. Not to knock anybody, okay? This person says here, this is Lillian, for example. She is the 11/19/56. She says her ankle's been swollen for a week. Not sure why. I'm not a doctor. I don't know either, but I will say this. You are in a 9 personal year. That does rule swelling, inflammations, because 9 rules injuries, uh, fevers, high temperatures, inflammations, and things of that nature. And more than likely, astrologically, it's probably on your left side, Lillian, that your ankle is swollen, although you did not say. Now, I'm not sure why, whatever the case is, but I do know this. With you being in a 9 personal year, it could have been an injury. So, for example, you might have been busy, not paying attention, bump your ankle against the bed or something of that nature, and then you pay attention later when it's become swollen. Other than that, I'm not a psychic, but I'm a great, great numerologist, though. Okay. So anyway, though, but your lucky numbers are the 149, and you definitely, definitely, definitely do not take orders at all. That is not your calling. And see, here's the challenge. Sometimes we men do think that women can be a little pushy. Some can too. But what I'm saying is, in the case that if you look at some of the numbers of the people, some of them are really are. She's got a lot of ones in her birthday. If you look at her birthday of November the 19th, 1956, the leadership numbers are ones and nine. So out of 2, 4, 6, 8 numbers running in her birthday, 6 of them are leadership numbers. So I'd expect her to be assertive by other people's standards or aggressive, or that you tell me what to do. When I would just simply tell a person dealing with her, she knows what she wants, she's going to speak her truth. And so once you understand these numbers, it helps you understand anybody that comes in front of you. So you know how to act with intelligence, and you know why this person, Lillian Hayes, has to be as true to herself as Lloyd Strayhorn has to be as true to himself. Okay. And so they said in Ghana, here this woman was saying here, Imuna, then in Guyana, they breastfeed their children. They make plankton flour and cornmeal porridge. So see, this is what I'm saying. So in a culture like in Guyana, where they may not be as up to speed like here in the West or other so-called civilized worlds or something as that, whatever they call it, there are still, no matter what part of the planet you live on, Mother Nature has always provided the herbs and fruits to take care of its inhabitants in that part of the world. No exceptions, not one exception. Okay. So when you understand that, don't be don't be too quick on knocking other people because they ain't doing this and they ain't taking that and meds or whatever the case is. But understanding that for people who live in their part of the world, God, in his infinite wisdom, knows exactly what he's doing to provide those vegetables, fruits, berries, trees, roots, barks to help the nation of the people live. Okay. So, anyway, I think that is about it for now. One person says they already eat one meal a day with a little snack. Yeah. And it's not that you have to eat one meal a day, but if what is saying is true, you get all kind of rumors. That's why I haven't turned on my TV in months, because I refuse to get caught up into the drama out here. Okay. There is, no matter, remember this, folks, no matter what the confusion is, there is always order in this universe. Mother Earth will never let no species, no insect, no nothing overtake it. It will swallow everybody up before they let that happen. So instead of being paranoid about, oh man, this is the end of days, no, it is not. It might be the end of your days, but it's not the end of Mother Nature. And Mother Nature will always take care of itself first and foremost. And if you've learned sociology through the natural forces and disasters of floods and hurricanes and this, that, and the other, it begins to do the process of elimination. Okay, so don't panic, but there is order in everybody's universe. All righty. Um, but I do tell you this: one meal a day will probably help a lot of people lose weight. They'll feel healthier, and they'll see the doctors less too. So some of them might get upset, but if the whole goal and the notion of the philosophy of the medical profession is do no harm, they should be very happy that no harm is coming to the nation of people. But I do understand how business works. But I'm like, yo, okay, take care of yourself. It's very, very expensive to get sick. And I will say this: somebody will say, well, Lloyd, this organic food is very expensive. My notion to that, or my counter notion to that, is would you like to see your hospital bill? Just even have emergency pick you up, at least here in New York City, it's going to cost you nearly $1,000 at the end of the day. Okay, and that's to come and get you, take you to the hospital, leave you in the hallway a bit until they finally get you, especially hoping it's not a crowded day. All right. And then later on, they'll check you out and you might stay a day, hopefully go home that day when you get the bill. So I'm telling you, you should exercise some common sense and exercise options and take care of yourself. That's my motion. Okay. So everybody, I want to get off my soapbox here a second. And by the way, I do something I rarely do, which is, do I have mine up here? Yes. Okay. Now this is how you can get in touch with me. Okay. I'm Lloyd Strayhorn. I'm an astronumerologist. Okay. My website is lloyd-strayhorn.com. You sign up for the free monthly newsletter. And the May issues out. So what you do is you go to lloyd-strayhorn.com, and you can also sign up for the online course that I have offered there too. But the online course is in the newsletter, but the newsletter is absolutely free. So just leave your email address. The birthday you can leave, that's optional, but leave your email address so we can send you the monthly newsletter that comes out every month. Um, my IG is Numbers in You. My Twitter is Numbers in You. My LinkedIn is Numbers in You. I'm just a Numbers in You guy when it comes to these social platforms. So that's basically it. Even my clubhouse is called Numbers in You. But the course that I do every Thursday at 7 is Learn from Lloyd with numerology. But my clubhouse room is Numbers in You. And that's each Thursday at 7 p.m. And my cash app is $ Numbers in You too. So everybody, I want to thank you very, very much. Wednesday's guest, believe it or not, it's going to be me. Okay. There's been a little mix up. So I like that. And I think about once every other month, I'm going to make room that I fit me in so I can read people because I'm very fascinated with the birthdays, the responses, and everything like that. But I want to thank everybody very much. I look forward to seeing everybody on Wednesday, okay, where the guest in the house will be me. All righty. So, everybody, thank you very much. And I keep forgetting. I put up the forecast, and right at the top it'll say like, share, and subscribe. I just forget. I'm not caught up into that, at least not yet. And I'm going to try not to get caught up because I think if I get caught up into how many likes I got, how many shares, how many subscribes, hit the buttons, all these other things they talk about, I think I will lose focus of what I'm doing. And I'd rather stay on point when it comes to helping and serving humanity and especially my viewers. Okay. So, with that, like, share, subscribe, hit that button. I think that's what they say all the time. So, for those of you, do. For those of you, it's cool. You know what I'm saying? I'm cool with you. It's not that serious. All right. If you don't, everybody, y'all have a nice day. Do take care. See you Wednesday.